Miraculous transition. 40 days of divine revelation and supernatural transformation await you. In a quaint English village framed by picturesque hills, something extraordinary was stirring in the hearts of its residents. Magical whispers floated through the air, promising hope and divine healing. Sarah, a devoted single mother, felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. Her son, Timmy, had just been diagnosed with a rare illness that turned the vibrancy in his young eyes into shadows of pain. As darkness crept into her life, Sarah turned desperately to her faith, hoping that the heavens would hear her pleas. When the local parish announced the upcoming Lenten journey, a call to a transformative 40 days of prayer and reflection, Sarah's heart fluttered with a flicker of hope. Could this be the divine intervention she had been yearning for? She dove headfirst into scripture, her Bible pages worn from constant flipping. Each word felt like a stitch repairing the fabric of her broken spirit, illuminating her path in the throes of despair. As Sarah gathered her neighbors around her kitchen table for nightly family devotions, the atmosphere crackled with spiritual electricity. Stories of miracles danced through their conversations, each shared testimony igniting a deeper resolve. "Isn't it grand?" old Mrs. Hargrove remarked, "that we can lift each other up in prayer?" The warm light of oil lamps flickered over a band of hearts joining together in unity, each one hoping for divine intervention. But as the 40 days unfolded, Sarah's faith met fierce trials. After a doctor's appointment that shattered her already fragile hope, the chilling prognosis threatened to drown her spirit. Her once supportive neighbors began to murmur doubts, unsettling gossip weaving webs of fear. "Did you hear about Sarah? They say her boy might not make it," echoed in hushed tones. The weight of their judgment only twisted like a thorn around her heart. Yet, in her most desperate moment, Sarah knelt by Timmy's bedside, tears streaming, and prayed fervently to her beloved patron saint. The room dimmed, and silence enveloped her. In that moment, the air shifted. A heavenly glow filled the space, lifting her gaze. An angelic presence appeared, aglow with light, conveying a message of healing warmth. "Fear not, for faith shall carry you." Awash in divine clarity, Sarah resolved to rally her community in faith. But doubt nestled in her heart, whispering that mere belief might not be enough. Just as she grappled with these thoughts, the church prepared for an impassioned service, a pivotal gathering infused with potent energy. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the congregation gathered, the atmosphere brimmed with anticipation and hope, mixed with an underlying current of fear. Would Sarah's vulnerable prayers lead to the miraculous healing her son so desperately needed? The 6th week of Lent loomed ahead, and her heart brimmed with questions, shadows closing in around her. Just as her son showed a flicker of improvement, doubt gnawed at her like a feral beast. Could faith truly shape their reality? Amidst the mingling prayers and shared sorrows, a divine shift felt imminent, ready to unfold in the final days of this sacred journey. What revelation awaited Sarah and her village as they ventured deeper into the heart of Lent? The night of the service arrived, cloaked in an air of expectancy that hummed beneath the surface like the stirring of a great ocean. As villagers trickled into the church beneath a sky awash with stars, Sarah felt the weight of their united hope. It was a sacred gathering, souls searching for solace and miracles, hearts bound by love and grief. Inside, flickering candles cast soft shadows, the scent of incense curling around pews filled with familiar faces. The choir, a joyful medley of voices, sang hymns that soared through the vaulted ceilings, carrying praises upward as if to touch the very heavens. Sarah's heart fluttered with every note, the harmonious declarations filling her spirit with grace. This was the crux of the Lenten journey, a moment when faith stood on the precipice of transformation. As the prayer service progressed, Sarah clutched the worn fabric of her dress. One of her dear friends, Mary, stood at the pulpit, her voice trembling with emotion as she recounted the burdens pressing upon them. "We gather, not just as individuals in our silent struggles, but as a community woven together by divine purpose," she proclaimed, her eyes ablaze with fervor. The congregation responded with murmurs, an affirmation of shared hope. Timmy's condition weighed heavily on Sarah's heart, urging her to gaze at the altar with unwavering intent. Stepping forward, as if urged by an unseen force, she grasped the railing as valor washed over her. "Lord, I stand before you as a mother, burdened with worry but faithful to your plan," she cried out. Her voice echoed through the space, filling the cracks of despair with fierce determination. In that quiet moment of surrender, the church dimmed in a way that signified the presence of the divine. Warmth enveloped her and a sensation like gentle waves caressed her spirit. What if this night's prayer was the turning point? What if miracle awaited? The thought danced around her mind, blending with the faith rising up like incense in the air as the congregants knelt in prayer. A silence fell, heavy with anticipation, each soul alive with an unspoken yearning. Suddenly, a soft light illuminated the altar. Timmy's name echoed softly, caressing each ear. "Timmy!" someone whispered, and an eruption of prayers burst forth. In the stillness, Sarah was overwhelmed with a profound peace. This wasn't just about her son anymore. It was about a communal longing, a shared belief that miracles could indeed germinate in the soil of faith. The church began to resonate with a new rhythm as voices began to harmonize into a single plea. "Heavenly Father, hear our prayers." With tears streaming, Sarah felt the swell of hope lifting her heart like a buoy upon a raging sea. As the final hymn resonated within those sacred walls, she knew a divine response was pending, just like the first light of dawn breaking through the night. The gathering slowly drew to a close, but an undercurrent of divine energy remained palpable. Would answers emerge in the days to come? Would the heavens pour forth their blessings upon them? As they exited the church, Sarah lingered in the doorway, filled with uncertainty yet steadfast hope. What if the miraculous awaited just beyond dawn? And with this thought, a question hung thick in the air, waiting to be answered. Would faith make a way for the impossible? Dawn crept over the horizon, a soft glow spilling across the village like a tender embrace. Sarah stood at her window, gazing out at the awakening world. Hope fluttered in her chest, mingling with the memory of last night's service. Each note of the hymn still lingered in her mind, igniting an ember of faith that refused to be extinguished in the days that followed. The air buzzed with an energy that was palpable. Villagers began to speak of miracles, sharing stories that rippled through the community like waves. Whispers of hope filled the market square, finding their way into the hearts of mothers, fathers, and children alike. "Have you heard?" a neighbor would say with wide eyes. Timmy's name was called out. It felt significant. Sarah busied herself with daily tasks, but the spark of the previous night ignited a new purpose in her work. She felt more present, aware of the needs around her in a way she hadn't before. As she kneaded dough for fresh bread, she offered silent prayers, weaving her anxieties into the rhythm of her hands. "Lord, let my faith knead in the truth of your goodness," she whispered, feeling the spirit alive in the gentle motions. On the third morning after the service, a great stillness enveloped the village. As Sarah stepped outside, she noted the thickening clouds, rolling in with a subtle menace. Yet even as the heavens darkened, a brilliant light shone within her heart, illuminating the shadows of uncertainty. She closed her eyes, breathing in deep, holding fast to the promise that had ignited in her soul. That evening, she gathered with friends at Mary's house. The air crackled with anticipation. Together, they recounted their hopes, fears, and dreams. Each voice added to the tapestry of faith being woven amongst them, a collective heartbeat echoing through the room. "Do you remember when Timmy used to laugh?" Mary asked, smiling wistfully. His laughter was pure joy, a gift, like a ray of sunshine. We must hold on to that joy. Laughter bubbled up, filling the space with warmth. It was a moment suspended in time, and Sarah realized how essential these connections had become. This was not just about her journey. It was about everyone lifting each other toward a brighter tomorrow. Suddenly, a soft knock echoed through the room, drawing the attention of the gathered friends. The door creaked open, revealing an elderly woman with silver hair shining like the dawn. "Forgive me for interrupting," she said, a glimmer of urgency in her hazel eyes. "I've come to share something profound." The group silenced, each heart in the room quickening with curiosity. "With faith, all things are possible," she began, her voice a gentle breeze weaving truth. "Your prayers, they've stirred something far beyond your understanding. But you must prepare, something is coming." Questions hung in the air, thick like the impending storm clouds. Sarah felt a mixture of excitement and fear swirl within her. What was this something? What awaited her, her son, and the whole village? The journey had been heavy with longing, but could they indeed be on the verge of a divine revelation? And as a flicker of doubt crossed her mind, another question swirled into being. What does it mean to be ready for the miraculous? The room was alive with a palpable tension, each person's breath mingling as curiosity transformed into a shared anticipation. The elderly woman, standing as if she were a divine messenger, continued, "You've prayed for signs, for revelations. But do you know what those signs may require of you? Will you be ready to act?" Sarah's heart raced. The thought of needing to prepare for something greater ignited a fire within her. Ready, she thought, recalling that feeling of faith she had nurtured since that night. The scent of warm bread mixed with the earthy aroma of rain-soaked ground drifting in from outside, grounding her but heightening the sensation of urgency. "What must we do?" a voice inquired from the back of the room, breaking Sarah's concentrated reverie. It was John, his brow furrowed, an embodiment of concern wrapped in hope. The elderly woman smiled knowingly. "You must open your hearts. You must stir within the still waters of your souls. The gifts you seek require courage, commitment, and a collective will. The journey may bring trials, but within those trials lies the path to transformation." The group exchanged glances, some wide-eyed, others steady, yet all on the brink of awakening. Sarah felt the slight quiver in the air, the crackle of something not yet tangible. Courage, the word floated around the room, marking the beginning of a commitment they didn't yet fully understand. What does this transformation look like? Sarah's questions poured forth, falling from her lips like water through a sieve. The woman gestured as if handing them an invisible thread that connected each of their lives. Sometimes it's the smallest acts, sharing your story, offering help to someone in need. A smile or a word of encouragement can reverberate through lives, shifting destinies. A hush fell over the gathering. They thought of Timmy, of his laughter and the warmth it brought, and Sarah sensed a pooling well of determination form in the hearts around her. They could be part of this change, this divine narrative unfolding before them. The storm outside broke with a sudden crash, rain pouring down in torrents, drenching the earth, igniting the sweet scent of rejuvenation. Mary grabbed Sarah's hand, squeezing tightly. "Whatever begins now, we'll face it together," she said with unwavering conviction. The elderly woman nodded, her eyes sparkling with belief. The old ways must sometimes fall away for the new to emerge. One door will close, and another will open, revealing a path tainted with grace. "Ensure you remain steadfast, for you shall be tested." The wind howled outside, rattling the windows as if nature itself echoed the warnings and promises being spoken. Sarah's breath caught. Could it really be true? Were they truly on the precipice of something mighty? The question floated in the space between hopes and fears as the rain surged. Light flickered through the room, an ethereal whisper of divine presence. Even in the chaos, peace settled around them, wrapping them like a warm cloak. Sarah's spirit soared, kindled by the collective faith swirling within the dimly lit space. "Prepare yourselves," the woman urged, her voice powerful despite her frail frame. "For within the next days, a miraculous shift will unveil. Something is indeed coming." The door creaked open slightly, as if being nudged by an unseen force, and silence filled the room, suffused with expectation. The air thickened with wonder, enveloping each person, coaxing them into contemplation. Can we truly be ready for what lies ahead? What could shift next in this journey of faith? As the rain drummed against the roof, one question permeated the quiet. What miracles awaited them on the horizon? As they stood in anxious silence, the elderly woman gazed out the window, her face illuminated by streaks of lightning that flickered briefly, then faded into the night. The storm raged outside, yet within the room, they felt the stirring of something sacred. "Do you see it?" she asked softly, her voice an echo against the howling winds. "The world outside is changing, just as your hearts must. You must welcome the storm, embrace the journey it brings." She paused, letting her words linger, allowing them to settle like seeds in fertile soil. John leaned forward, his eyes shimmering with the light of understanding. What if we fail? What if we stumble along the path? His vulnerability hung in the air, a tangible fear that many shared yet seldom voiced. The woman turned her gaze back to the group, her eyes soft yet penetrating. "Failure is not the end. It is the teacher that leads you to grace. It is in stumbling that you learn to rise, to adapt, to grow. Remember, even the greatest saints walked rough paths." Mary, emboldened by the moment, echoed back, "And if we hold each other close, what can we achieve?" Her words rang with a newfound strength, igniting flickers of hope among the friends gathered. They were not alone in this. The woman nodded warmly. "Indeed, it is through this shared journey that the sacred spark ignites. Together you become a vessel for change. Hold tightly to each other. Faith unites and uplifts. Therein lies the power of your transformation." As the howling wind howled like a restless spirit, the room seemed to pulse with life, and in that moment, all battles with self-doubt faded into the backdrop of the gathering storm. Sarah could feel the warmth of collective hope surging through them. Their united resolution was tangible and electric. "I feel it," Sarah exclaimed, her heart racing as if in synchronicity with the universe itself. "We can transform despair into hope. We can turn suffering into joy." "Exactly," the woman replied, her voice steady and bright. "Your hearts are open. You must continue to act in faith, even when the way is unclear. Each moment you gather strength together will weave the tapestry of your shared destiny." The electricity in the atmosphere thickened, and Sarah thought she caught a glimpse of light swirling just beyond the window. A fresh wave of understanding washed over her. This was not merely a gathering. It was a divine movement. "Visualize your intentions," the elder urged, her voice rising above the storm. "Call forth the miracles you wish to see. Speak them into existence." And so they began speaking their promises, hopes, and desires. Each voice lifted the other, a chorus of faith that wove through the tempest outside. Healing, love, understanding, transformation. As they poured their hearts out, the storm seemed to respond, thrumming with energy both fierce and nurturing. Sarah felt a warmth spread within her, a peace and a knowing that they were on the brink of something profound. Suddenly, a vibrant flash illuminated the room, revealing a vision that left them breathless. Figures, shimmering spirits of light, filled the space, whispering truths beyond words, mingling with their prayers. Soft gasps arose, wonder glistening in their eyes. "Look," Mary breathed, pointing to the dazzling forms hovering above them as they stood transfixed. Sarah clutched Maria's hand, heart pounding with endless possibility. "What are they trying to tell us?" The woman smiled, her gaze softened with wisdom. "That remains to be seen. What unfolds in your hearts over the coming days will answer that question. Trust in this sacred time and be prepared, for the path ahead holds more than you can imagine." With this, the storm outside shifted, a call toward rebirth echoing through the air. Hope soared anew, yet the mysteries ahead deepened. What was this glowing revelation preparing them for? Would they have the courage to follow through? Sarah's spirit felt alive with anticipation. The dawn of something miraculous awaited, a promise woven into fate. What transformation lay ahead in this journey of faith? As the storm raged on, the room felt both alive and electric, charged with hope and expectations that soared beyond what they could touch. Sarah's heart pulsated with urgency, each beat a silent call to embrace the unknown ahead. The swirling light dimmed gradually, yet the memory of those ethereal forms lingered in her mind. It was as if a door had slightly opened, allowing them to glimpse a world beyond their own. "Do you believe?" the elderly woman asked, her voice steady yet inviting. She looked into each pair of eyes, drawing them into a shared moment of trust. Faith is a bridge across uncertainty. It leads us into the arms of possibility. Mary released a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "I want to believe. I want to walk this path together." Her words echoed through the room, stirring a sense of collective determination. They glanced around, knowing this was a moment of choice. Would they turn back at the first sign of fear, or step forward with unwavering faith? "I think we must gather our stories," John suggested, a spark igniting within him. "Our pasts, our journeys, we've already survived storms before. They're part of us. They built our strength." "Exactly." Sarah nodded, her spirit soaring. "Those experiences are our stepping stones, each one a lesson, guiding us towards transformation." The elder smiled, the lines of her face deepening. This was a moment of resonance. "Ah yes, reclaiming your stories is vital. Each thread weaves together to create the beautiful tapestry of your lives. Speak them, share them, release the burdens and let them shine." With that encouragement, they began to share. Each voice spoke of challenges faced and battles fought, of love found in dark places and light that broke through despair. The words poured forth, a healing river. "I felt abandoned," John shared, warmth blooming in his chest as he opened his heart. "But in my isolation, I found a connection to something greater. It saved me from myself." Mary quickly followed, her voice soft but firm. "I battled with doubt, and still do. But in moments of sheer surrender, I found peace waiting on the other side." The elderly woman listened, nodding as they spilled their souls. "These are the essences of revival," she whispered, almost to herself. "Not merely a rapture of the heart, but a renewal of spirit." With each story woven into the air, a sense of sacredness nestled within them. The wind outside howled, battering against the walls, yet the room felt increasingly warm and cocooned, as if they existed in a sanctuary of grace. Suddenly, a gentle wind swept through the room, drawing their attention to an open window. The air carried the scent of rain, mixed with something floral, intoxicating their senses. The storm was alive, and they could feel its whispers, a dance of renewal, calling them toward their divine mission. "What's happening?" Sarah's voice trembled with excitement. "It's like the storm knows. The universe recognizes your willingness to change," the woman exclaimed, the fervor in her heart igniting the atmosphere once more. "Embrace it, for every blessing carries the weight of response. Prepare your hearts for the shift yet to come. Open your palms and look towards the heavens." As they raised their hands, a pulse of light energized them, a sacred current binding them together. Each heartbeat synchronized in holy resonance. Clarity washed over Sarah. "We must be guides for one another, don't we?" "Indeed," the elder replied, her voice layered with wisdom. "Devotion is a shared undertaking. Now, take this moment and hold it close, for tomorrow brings forth another chapter of your journey, one you may not expect." Excitement mixed with trepidation gripped them, forming a tapestry of faith and realization. What awaited beyond this moment, like the calm after the storm? What challenges and blessings would greet them when dawn broke? As they continued to stand together, feeling the ease and urgency of faith intertwine, a new reverberation filled the air, an invitation to witness something powerful. Sarah smiled, emboldened with wonder, unaware yet of the sacred revelations that awaited them in the upcoming days. What transformations were waiting around the bend? Could they truly hold fast to their faith, even as the storms of life began to shift? As the first rays of dawn began to creep cautiously into the room, the air felt thick with promise and anticipation. The tempest of yesterday had surrendered to a quiet stillness, a palpable energy swirling around the circle of believers, urging them onward. They stood together, hearts now set aflame with the hope of newfound purpose. "Look at the light," Mary whispered, her eyes riveted on the horizon. It feels like the dawn is blessing us. The elderly woman smiled, her wisdom shining like the sun breaking through dark clouds. Light comes with revelation. It's a gift of guidance illuminating the path ahead. Do you feel it? Each member nodded, a sense of urgency blossoming within them, compelling them to consider what lay next on their journey. The storm had cleared, but the aftermath felt like a quiet call to action, a divine prompting and a challenge all wrapped in one. What will we do? John asked, his brow furrowed with sincerity. What steps should we take now? Listen carefully, the elder replied, her tone rich with love. You have shared your stories. Each one is a beacon of light. You must now become the vessel's guides for others still caught in their own storms. Share the treasures of your journeys. Sarah's heart raced at the thought. But how do we start? Start with the places closest to you, the elder urged, her hands sweeping through the air as if painting the scene before them. Reach out to your families, your friends, your communities. Let them know that storms pass and peace is available on the other side. Excitement danced among them, sparking ideas as laughter and stories mingled in the renewed atmosphere. They each began to envision names, faces, and moments of shared struggles, the unspoken burdens upon their loved ones' hearts. I can reach out to Emma, Mary said thoughtfully. She has been struggling for so long. Her faith has nearly faded. I'll call my brother, John added with determination. He needs to believe he is not alone. Sarah felt a rush of emotions, her eyes glistening with tears. And I can start a gathering at church. A safe space where people can share and heal together. We can be the support they need. The elderly woman lifted her hands as if entrusting them with a holy charge. This is the beginning of your mission. Don't doubt the power of openness and vulnerability. As you testify to what you've received, you invite more blessings into your lives. Remember, it's not always about the loudest voice. Sometimes quiet whispers can carry profound truths. With renewed clarity, they shared their plans, each voice swelling with hope and anticipation. They were meant to step into each other's lives with grace and courage, their stories intertwining to weave a fabric of community and support. Suddenly, as if in response to their collective resolve, the warm light in the room brightened. A gentle breeze whispered around them, wrapping like a soft embrace. Everyone turned toward the open window, captivated by an enchanting sight. A beautiful bird, resplendent with vibrant colors, landed on the sill. The elder pointed, her voice filled with wonder. What a divine reminder! New beginnings are often accompanied by unexpected gifts. Just as this bird brings life and joy, so too shall your words carry newfound life into the hearts of others. In that moment of magic, a burst of laughter broke the tension, and a sense of divine possibility hung thick in the air. Could they truly act as beacons, guiding those lost through their personal storms? As they prepared to embark on this mission of love and light, a hush fell over the room, unified by the shared energy of faith. Each heart beat stronger, synchronized with purpose. Together, they took a deep breath, looking toward the sky where the sun fully rose, a symbol of hope illuminating their paths. What unexpected challenges might await them, and how would they lean on one another in the moments of doubt? The seeds of faith were planted, but would they grow amidst the complexities of life? All they knew was that their journey was just beginning, and something divine beckoned them onward. The sun bathed the room in warmth, and the air was electric with possibility. Each believer felt the pulse of the divine within them, a rhythm echoing in sync with their pounding hearts. They exchanged glances filled with excitement, ready to embark on their mission. The elder, sensing their eagerness, spoke softly but firmly. Each step you take from this day forward carries the weight of your intentions. Remember, your words can light the way not just for others, but for yourselves as well. Mary nodded, her heart swelling with purpose. We have to be authentic. Our struggles aren't just stories. They are testimonies of survival. If we can share what we've faced, then perhaps others will feel the courage to do the same. An approving smile spread across the elder's face. Absolutely. As you unfold your journeys, you create spaces for the truth to ripple through. Remember, honesty in your stories, however raw, is pure light. The group set to work, each of them writing down names and organizing their thoughts. Ideas flourished like spring flowers. Sarah felt a spark of inspiration viscerally ignite within her. What if we make it a series at church? Each week a member shares their journey, and we wrap it all in prayer. We can all learn from one another. A murmur of agreement wafted through the circle. John leaned forward, enthusiasm spilling over. And we could hold workshops, no judgment, just support. We need to normalize the conversation about faith, doubts, and healing. The elder watched as creativity ignited around her. She felt joy in the knowledge that liberation awaited those who felt imprisoned by silence. You will be surprised by the healing that occurs when people can share without fear. Mary put her hand gently on her chest, contemplating. What if we reach out beyond our walls too? What do you think will happen if we share our light in the wider community? A thoughtful silence fell upon them as they considered outreach. The elder's voice broke through, soft yet powerful. You may find that your influence will travel further than you can imagine, like seeds dispersing on the breath of the wind. A shared determination rose as they began drafting plans for their outreach. Community centers, local cafes, parks, a mosaic of locations where people might gather seeking solace. Hope intertwined with shared commitment, enriching the sacred atmosphere in the room. Suddenly, the light flickered, catching their awareness. A gust of wind rustled the curtains, a sign that divine inspiration was sweeping through them. A palpable hush settled over the group as they felt the gentle call to step outside of their comfort zones. Let faith lead the way, the elder said, her eyes gleaming with love. And remember, the road ahead won't always be easy. Doubt may come, but that's where your community will lift you up. Just then, the door opened, and a curious passerby peeked into the now vibrant room, drawn in by the warmth of their gathering. The four turned, wide-eyed, as if they were witnessing a miracle in motion. Perhaps this is a sign, whispered Sarah. Our first encounter, the beginning of something beautiful. What will we tell them? John questioned, his excitement bubbling to the surface. Just share your light, the elder encouraged, and let the love flow. As they approached the newcomer, hearts pounding and spirits lifted. Their mission expanded further than they had initially envisioned. What stories awaited them just beyond the door? What transformation could unfold if they invited this stranger into their fold? The divine weave of connection had just begun, and the endless potential sparkled like stars scattered across the night sky. What other surprises lay in store as they stepped into the unknown? The newcomers stepped inside, a hesitant smile gracing their lips. The light danced in their eyes, reflecting the warmth that filled the room. It was as if a thread of divine purpose pulled them toward this gathering. Hi there, the stranger said softly, their voice a gentle breeze. I felt something calling me in. A moment of silence stretched among them, as Mary spoke up, her heart racing. You're welcome. We're sharing stories about faith and healing. Would you like to join us? The stranger's eyes widened. I've never shared my story before. I don't know if their voice trailed off, uncertainty swirling in the air like faint mist. Your story matters, the elder interjected with a reassuring tone. Sometimes the most powerful testimonies come from places of vulnerability. Remember, this space is built on love and acceptance. With a nod, the stranger stepped further into the circle, emboldened by the community that surrounded them. Other members shared their gazes of encouragement, creating an atmosphere of sacred safety. Let us start with a prayer, Sarah suggested, closing her eyes. The group followed suit, hearts aligning in intentions. In that moment, a peace descended, like a soft cloak enveloping them, each soul attuned to the divine whisper. After a moment of reflection, the stranger took a deep breath, their hands trembling slightly. Well, I've been through some heavy stuff. You see, I lost my job recently. It shattered my sense of worth. I struggled to find hope, believing I was just stuck. The vulnerability hung heavy yet beautiful in the air. As the stranger continued, each word poured out like water from a spring, cleansing the memories of pain. Mary felt her heart swell. She raised her hand, acknowledging the person's courage. Thank you for sharing that. Many of us have faced those feelings, the weight of doubt and despair. You're not alone. As more stories flowed, the stranger found solace in their words. John spoke next of his battles with anxiety, how faith became a lighthouse in the stormy sea of emotions. Others chimed in, adding their experiences, weaving a tapestry of shared burden and support. With each unfolding story, a realization dawned upon them: every struggle transformed into a sacred thread, connecting each heart to a greater whole. The elder watched in awe, realizing they were not just sharing. They were witnessing healing in real time. "Let us pray again," she suggested gently. Each person bowed their heads, and a chorus of gratitude rose as they expressed their hopes and dreams for themselves and for each other. As the prayer ended, the air shimmered with anticipation. The energy shifted, a sweet fragrance of hope mingling with the lingering warmth of community. The stranger looked around, eyes glistening, as if in disbelief. "I feel lighter, brighter somehow. That's what happens when we share our burdens," the elder said, smiling knowingly. "The weight disperses, and we begin to see the light." Just then, outside echoed a distant sound, laughter and music filtering through the doorway. It was as if the world was joining in their celebration. The stranger's eyes sparkled with wonder. "What do we do now?" The group exchanged excited glances, realizing they held the power to step into the world with renewed courage. "We take our light beyond this room," John said firmly, his voice strong with purpose. "There are more stories waiting to be heard." The elder added, "This is just the beginning. Let us step out, filled with hope, and see what God has planned for us next." As they moved toward the door, hearts interlinked by shared journeys, each step felt like a dance of faith. What unexpected encounters awaited them beyond the threshold? Would they find others yearning for solace and connection, just like their newcomer? With divine anticipation thrumming in the air, they stepped into the world, ready to illuminate the path for themselves and others along the way. The days turned into weeks as Sarah and her neighbors embraced their mission of spreading hope, faith, and light throughout their village. With every gathering, the spirit of transformation filled the air, filling hearts, binding stories, and igniting a wave of divine connection. Miracles unfolded as they shared their journeys, and community members began to emerge from the shadows, sharing burdens once unseen. It was a crisp morning when Sarah received a call that changed everything. Timmy's doctor wanted to speak with her urgently. Her heart raced, pulsing with anxiety and hope as she rushed to the clinic. What news awaited her? Could this be the culmination of their prayers? Inside the waiting room, Sarah's mind swirled with uncertainty. She clasped a small wooden cross, her fingers trembling. This reminder of faith became her anchor amidst turmoil. In that moment of waiting, she inhaled deeply, allowing her heart to connect with the prayers of her community. Those who had rallied around her had lifted her spirit more than she could ever express. When the doctor finally entered, his face wore a mixture of seriousness and joy. "Sarah," he said, his voice steady, "the results from Timmy's latest tests show something remarkable. There is a significant improvement beyond what we could have expected." The words hung in the air, each syllable a vibrant note of hope. Sarah's heart raced, her tears spilled forth, washing away the fear that had clung to her for so long. "Praise God," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with gratitude. "This is the miracle. This is the answer to our prayers." Moments later, she hugged the doctor, unable to contain her joy. Timmy's path had shifted toward healing, and the community's united faith had brought them to this divine moment. Returning home, Sarah felt a sense of peace meld with joy. Her neighbors were already gathering in her front yard, their laughter twinkling like sunlight cast through leaves. She joined them, and for a moment, everything felt as if it was perfectly aligned, a dance of divine celebration. Their spirits intertwined under the loving arms of a compassionate God. "Timmy's doing better," Sarah burst forth, words tumbling out in joyful abandon. Her neighbors erupted into cheers, fierce hugs being exchanged, and the air filled with jubilant prayers flowing spontaneously. "God has heard us," Mary cried, radiant joy illuminating her face as she watched her community rejoice. An exhilarating warmth enveloped Sarah. She felt the presence of God alive in every smile, every tear, every prayer. This was the culmination of their collective faith. Their journey not only transformed Timmy, but each heart lifted toward the divine. Timmy's healing wasn't just a miracle for him. It resonated through everyone who had stood by in prayer. Perhaps they had glimpsed the truth that healing goes beyond the physical. It resurrects lost hopes and dreams, restores faith, and fosters empathy among souls. In the coming days, they would plan a celebration, a festival of gratitude to honor the blessings and love that bound them. They envisioned an entire weekend devoted to sharing God's miracles, where stories would flow like rivers, carrying hope to those thirsting for connection. And so, they devoted themselves to preparations, each person contributing their heart and energy, a living testament to community resurrection. The church bells rang louder with joyous peals that echoed across the village, inviting everyone to join in the sacred celebration. As the festival day dawned, the sun broke gracefully over the horizon, bathing everything in golden light. Sarah gazed out at the vibrant festivities unfolding. Tables adorned with lovingly prepared dishes, laughter bubbling up like wine, children playing excitedly. In the midst of this, a familiar figure approached, an elderly man from the outskirts of town, a face once shadowed by isolation. With trembling hands, he revealed his own burdens of loneliness and doubt, his heart longing for connection. Witnessing Sarah and her neighbors celebrating life, he wanted to be part of something larger than himself. With open hearts, they welcomed him into their gathering. And so, blessing after blessing rolled forth, words of warmth and faith knitting together souls from all walks of life. Sarah felt the undeniable shift, her community now a tapestry woven with the threads of shared stories, newfound friendships, and a strong foundation of faith. As she embraced the strangers turned friends, laughter ringing like sacred bells, she realized this was just the beginning. Their collective light illuminated pathways not just for themselves, but for others still waiting in their darkness. They had stepped into the divine dance of witnessing miracles, transforming sorrow into joy, fear into hope. As the sun set on that beautiful day, casting brilliant colors across the sky, Sarah whispered a prayer of gratitude. Lord, guide us toward every soul still searching for a spark. May they find their light through our shared journey. What awaited them next? More transformations, more stories to weave into the fabric of their existence. This was only the beginning of the divine narrative unfolding, a promise of miracles yet to come. Don't wait another second. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel, so you don't miss our next exclusive faith stories that inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and share this divine journey far and wide. Comment below to share your reactions and testimonies about this beautiful ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope. This is the moment to show your support. Let's spread the light together.